Here we are, live once again on a Friday night when most people are actually maybe going out. I mean, most people. That's where my mind goes, you know? When I would, especially back in the days, I would stay in on a Friday night. I didn't want to stay in. And I was like, everybody's going out. In my head, like, everybody was going out but me. So, it's not true. Most people aren't going out, I'm sure. I mean, think about it. So, welcome to the Antoine Anonymous Friday night live stream. It's you and me and some other people in the chat room. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to, hey, what's up, Cody Robinson? How's it going, man? It's going good. 4 years clean on the 28th. So, of course, I'm going to come on for my, I didn't forget this time. I think last week I came on a Saturday or something. But yeah, they want to miss this one. So I can share the message. You know? How's your night? Good? Thanks. Yeah, I was saying that I felt like everybody was going out on Friday nights when I was struggling to stop using drugs. I felt like everybody else was going out and I couldn't. But in reality, it was like made up in my head, right? I had so much FOMO, like fear of missing out. I don't know if you guys are in recovery or not, or if you have that sometimes, but I had that for the longest time. I would I don't have it as much anymore because I don't want to miss out what I have here in my home, but I would watch videos of people going out at raves and DJ stuff, people dancing, and you say, oh yeah, I remember how that felt, and then you kind of miss it. But the crazy thing is that my brain would choose what to remember, and it would only remember the good stuff. Never, never the bad stuff, the bad consequences that came after, the coming down that came after. I would never think about my brain would never think about that. I would have to make myself remember that by getting out of, just by really playing the tape till the end. I don't know if some of you guys remember, but the whole thing with Universal, they did a whole series on addiction and coming back, and it was called Play the Tape Till the End. Because how much milk should I drink? I don't know, bro. This is addiction and recovery meeting and live stream. This is not a milk anonymous. So this is for people with drug addiction problems. But I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so this guy, rest in peace, I guess. John Haynes. He was the CEO, I guess, of Addiction Canada. He's the one who had that company. Couple rehabs actually. He told me that, or was it a counselor in that rehab? He said that play the tape till the end. So when I would have a trigger, you would say play the tape till the end. So okay, how does it go? How does your night go? So, yeah, I would get out of the house or sneak out, and then I would go get the drugs, and then use some drugs, and then find people to party with, and then just do a bunch of stuff, and that part obviously, the good part, and then I would have to at some point go back home, or I would have to stop using drugs, and what usually happens? Well, I probably had to do some requirements for my sponsors that I didn't do. I was supposed to work out, didn't work out. I was tired after that, and then obviously people that were relying on me or expecting things of me were disappointed, angry. I'll have to lie. Usually I would lie to people Then I would remember all that stuff and the bad consequences of it coming down, and I remember that when it was time to stop, I never wanted to stop. So it's like, oh yeah, this is how the tape ends. The story always ends up the same. I had to stop anyway, and I'm not satisfied. What a shit deal. Hey, do the thing you want to do the most, just to get a relief, and then you get a relief as long as you take it, and then at some point you don't even have the relief anymore because you have to stop or something, or it doesn't work anymore, and then you're stuck like in a worse spot than before even using drugs. How crazy is that deal? If somebody came to you, hey, whatever you're craving for, I'll remove your craving by giving you what you want, but then I'll take it away from you, and then you'll feel worse than before. Everybody will be like, no, that's a shit deal. Not for the addict, though. The addict is like, sign me up. Like, I mean, I did. I mean, most addicts, are the same. But thankfully now, that part is over of my life. But yeah, so in the group chat here, anybody, here's a KL Simmons just popped in as soon as I needed a question. I am battling addiction issues hard today and for the last week. My body is falling apart. I have a brain injury, histamine intolerance, mitochondrial dysfunction, bad hip. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. I really hope that you're getting some support, because when you have like injuries and things like that, you need more than just like an addiction counselor. So we have a thing called in the 12-step program called outside issues, where sometimes you do have to like consider like the other problems in your life also. You gotta put that all together in your recovery. So sometimes some people, they need like let's say if you have somebody has depression, they need some type of like SSRI or whatever. Sometimes they do work for some people. For some people, they shouldn't be on it, but some people it does help. But some people in recovery are saying like, yeah, you're not really clean if you're taking any type of medication. Well, says who? Like, focus on your own recovery, right? Everybody has a different recovery. So sometimes outside issues, it's part of the NA program, and it's in there somewhere, the basic text, I believe. And it's for things like that. You got a bad hip, you got to fix that. Your histamine intolerance, I don't even know what that is. Mitochondrial dysfunction, that sucks. It's in the cell. And the brain injury, that can have like maybe some effect on your mental health, that you need maybe some outside help. But obviously, self-medication, if it's like, usually doesn't work, right? If you try to fix a problem, like for me, for example, I'll talk about myself. I had a thinking problem, right? I thought that life as it wasn't good enough, and it wasn't good enough for me, so I had to change it the way I wanted it, and then I could live life. So if I have a thinking problem, I'm trying to solve my thinking problem with the same brain that I'm thinking with, that I have a thinking problem with. Oh, it doesn't compute, right? Doesn't make sense. It's not gonna work. It's like, try to find another example, but let me try to fix this car with this broken wrench. Pretty much, right? It's not gonna work. If the tool you're gonna use is broken too, how can you fix it yourself? You need somebody else that will guide you. And a lot of people, they use the higher power, but that's very abstract. But usually, that's why they have sponsors, in the 12 steps, where they kind of guide you through the steps and help you out. But you do need other people to get better. So Kale Simmons, I'm asking you this right now. Do you have anybody helping you out? Do you have a good support system? Do you have a girlfriend, a wife? Do you have a mother that cares about you? Do you have friends? Sometimes people don't, their family is not even the best thing sometimes. I'm lucky enough that, my mom was always there for me. Nope, my girl left me and my dog died. Well, I'm sorry about your dog, and I'm sorry about your girl too. Sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to make a decision, right? But is there other people than your girl? Because obviously she's not there anymore. You got to think outside the box a little bit. Maybe call somewhere. And if you have an addiction problem, the best spot to go, I believe, is a NA meeting, right? Whatever your drug of choice is, it doesn't matter in NA because in NA it's like everything. It's like all the substances that change your perception and behavior. It's everything, you know, even alcohol. People they go to AA when it's just alcohol usually because this is like AA is like the father of all recovery programs. They go there, but let's say if you have weed and alcohol and opiates and whatever, right? Then you need something that like takes care of everything. There's CA, Cocaine Anonymous, but and they do talk about alcohol and other substances in there too, and it's kind of cool because they use the big book, the AA book. But for me, that wasn't my drug of choice. So I didn't really feel like I had to go there. But the meetings were good though. People were like more like ADHD and more hyped up. I feel like let's say if you go to a strippers bar and then you saw like the bikers, the strippers, and the criminals. I feel like it's when these people get clean, it's like it's a CA meeting. But to be honest, I have nobody. But thanks for doing these meetings, Kale. Yeah, I'm really happy that you could get some help here and maybe some inspiration. But I'm just ranting like once a week on this live stream. What about the other 24 hours of Friday? And what about the other days of the week? Just think about that. Maybe there's somebody out there. But the thing is, if you're going to be, sometimes we don't want to get help because we have to be honest with these people. And we don't want these people to know the extent of our problems. So we don't get help because we're afraid of being ashamed, right? We are afraid I was afraid of judgment. Not with my friends and stuff. I didn't really care about that. It was more like when I had to tell my mom, because my mom just thought I was just like, oh, he's just doing his own thing in his apartment in Montreal, and I guess he's busy, and he's grown up now. He doesn't talk to me anymore. In the meantime, I was partying like an animal and then like digging my own grave. And then I told my mom, and it hurt her for sure. But if it wasn't for her picking me up every time I was into pieces and I had nothing and I had nowhere else to go and I want to get better, my mom always helped me out. You know what I mean? But I had to tell her and face the music, as they say. And I had to do this with like a lot of people. And I did it online too. 2015, I told everyone in the world I had a problem so I could be accountable. I thought that would be it. That will do it. Just the fact that I wanted to stop, I thought I would stop. It was the beginning of the journey, because I got 4 years right on the 28th, 2 days ago. But the first time I tried to stop using drugs for real, instead of like for real, like I'm not ever gonna use drugs again. First time I said that was like 2015, January 5th. This is when I said it for the first time. Before that, I'll stop for 2 weeks or whatever, right? But why are you not asking any other people? Maybe ask yourself that. Majority of people have never struggled anywhere near the degree I do day to day, so everything goes over their head. Yeah, for me, honestly, I can get advice and I can relate only to people who went through this shit. But there are people who are in my life that were open-minded enough that didn't have an addiction. My friend Dorian, his ex-wife Rachel was really wanted me to get better, and she was kind of a bitch sometimes, honestly, but it was good that she had her boundaries, It did help in a sense, especially the last time I went to rehab. But yeah, sometimes you just need to if to seek help, you gotta tell people that you're fucked up. And sometimes you don't want to do that. And this is the thing keeping you from getting help. So maybe think about that. Is there a reason why you're not reaching out to like your family? You're not reaching out to like, you know. And the thing is, if you want people that struggle as much as you did, go to an NA meeting. You're gonna see people walking through that door every week at their rock bottom. You know, it's a good reminder. That's why I love when people they just come in and they're just like destroyed. I hate it for them. I know how it feels, but for me it's a good reminder. Oh, I remember how that felt. I remember coming in my first day. I remember coming in after relapses, getting a white key tag over and over again, just getting up there, getting another one, getting a round of applause like I fucking achieved something. And I did achieve something. I was like trying. If I was in a meeting grabbing a white key tag, it means I was still trying. And at some point it just stuck. You know, after a few rehabs and hundreds of relapses, I guess, it stuck. The Invisible One says, "Congrats, Avi. So proud of you. I've been watching you for years. Never met ya, but so many people like me admire and love ya, man. Thanks for years and years of videos and your thoughts and advices." Well, my pleasure. We don't have to meet. Sometimes it's funny because like for me, I think the person I listen to the most online is probably Joe Rogan. So I feel like, especially when he repeats it, sometimes I know exactly what he's going to say before he's going to say it because I've listened to him so much. So I feel like you know the guy. So I know some of you guys probably know me pretty good now because I'm trying to be pretty transparent. So I do get it. So even if we never met, it kind of feels like we did in a sense because I talk a lot online and I've been sharing stuff online for like my first video that I did online when I was like a teenager before YouTube. So there's some people that follow me since then. So it's pretty crazy. So Invisible One, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. And yeah, hope you're good, man. Let's keep this going for years, more years and more years, God willing. And I know it's possible now because clean and sober. Honestly, it was pretty easy to know. It's funny. I was staying in the same building. I moved in the same building as one of my coaches back then, Salim, and I wanted to like prep for like the Nordic Pro back then. I was trying to come back to training, right? That was like 2015, 2014. I moved like, okay, time to stop using drugs. I was trying to like get clean by myself. I didn't even know like NA was a thing and rehab was a thing I was supposed to do. Like I was like, not me, right? Rehab is stuff on TV that the celebrities were messed up go to, you know. No, I couldn't stop by myself, but I couldn't. But yeah, I moved into the same condo building as him, so I could be closer to him, so I could be more strict. And it's funny, I saw him like 2 or 3 times in the whole time I stayed there, and it was like 5 levels. I was in a penthouse. It was like level like 14 or whatever. It was like just down below, and I would not even see him. And then at some point I seen that he said, "Yeah, you were out like partying, right?" So how did you know? How did you know? I was like, he said, "Well, every time you stop posting online, I know you're partying." I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't. In my head, I was like, I didn't realize people were just like, okay, well, he didn't post in 3 days. He's been like probably partying. I was like, shit. And then I remember the next times I was partying, I was trying to like post stuff just to just to hide the fact that I was using. It's so stupid, right? So anyway, or the Ringland WRXF. I'm gonna call you RF. Seeing you happy and positive is a beautiful thing. Perfect score. Not a perfect score, but I'm pretty close right now. Got a nice baby, nice wife, nice house. It's really cool. You know, sometimes people have the imposter syndrome. I don't fucking have it. I'm happy that I have that. And I know I worked hard for it. And I know it was possible for me only if I could stop doing drugs. And I just couldn't stop before. KL Simmons says, "Have you seen the video of Callum in Thailand? I've seen a few of them. I've seen the one when he was dancing with this little Twinkie Asian guy, like in the club and just dancing like crazy, like. And yeah, obviously he doesn't look good, but I don't think Callum really cares what people think most of the time. And I did talk to him recently. We actually did a call. He found this old video we did in 2016 and posted it as a throwback, and I collab with him. I do miss Callum. And the thing is, like, about Callum never wanted to be famous. It's like people made him famous, like, without him wanting it. I mean, it's good in a sense because you can make a nice career out of it. But I remember, like, Callum saying to me, like, man, all these people, like, they want me to do this, want me to do that. All I want to do is just go to the gym with my bros. That's all you want to do. He's a real, like, Australian guy who just, like, likes to hang out with his friends and have experiences. And I think just LA messed him up. Because the thing is, if you're around people who do drugs, the expression, I like that expression. I didn't make it up, obviously. Stay long enough in a barber shop, you're going to get a haircut. That's true. That's true for haircuts and drugs, I guess, and anything else. If you, like, hang out with people who are, let's say, like, you hang out with people who all they talk about is boxing, they take boxing classes, and you get along with them a lot, right? At some point, you're gonna throw a jab, you're gonna ask questions about boxing, and then you're gonna end up doing boxing classes too, right? And with behaviors, it's even easier. If all your friends, like, they vape around you, at some point, if you're just a curious guy or impulsive or whatever, right? You're gonna hit that vape, and then sooner or later you're gonna be vaping. So I think what happened with Callum in L.A. is that's what happened. He was surrounded by people who were maybe bad influences, people who just wanted to, party with him, be seen with him, and then with Callum, I think that's what happened. He just started doing stuff, I guess, and it just went wrong after that. Kale says there's a video of him sitting on moped with guy asking me. Oh yeah, I saw that video. Yeah, it's this guy asking tattoo. He always asks people, "Is what's your tattoo mean?" And randomly, Callum was there on the moped, just smoking a dart, just being, just chilling there. I saw it. Yeah, people like, oh my God, Callum, whatever. I mean, he was smaller, but Callum maybe he doesn't care about being super jacked anymore. The only thing I want him to be happy. I want him to get like I don't even know if he's doing drugs or not anymore. I mean, if you see him dancing with a Twinkie guy, like, maybe he still is drinking at least. But I just wanted to, like, not suffer every day. And I'd like him to come back in America and just see him and just hang out and stuff. But hey, that's just because I like him, he's my bro. I love him. He just needs I offer many times. I always offer him, like, if you need help, I'm here. He knows that. He knows that if he needs help and he just asks me, I'll be there. Jaden Big Sandy is saying, what are your thoughts on the rise of sports betting? I hate that I had to see my college roommate drop out because of his betting got out of hand. So gambling is pretty crazy. I'll tell you a story about gambling if you want. So I stayed in a shelter for a month after a rehab. For some reason, they sent me to a place that you transition from the street to a normal life. But it was supposed to be like a sober living place where there was no drugs. And obviously, the shelter is where all the worst drug addicts end up. Because they have no money and they want to keep doing drugs. Then they end up having no homes and having nothing because they sell everything. They just have they're not responsible enough to get a job and this and that. So anyway, I was there for a month. And when it was time to eat, you were all out. You make the lineup with your tray in your hand, with the people from the street, like in the movies. I think we've all seen that in movies, right? It's exactly like that. You have your tray, you're in line, and everybody, like, people are yelling, making noises, like Tourette's, and people are just like arguing and jittery. Some people are just like the lowest level of society is always at the shelters. And this is where I was living. I was sleeping there. Anyway, and eating there, doing everything there. And I was always trying to sit with somebody that like didn't cut my appetite. And it's sad to say that. It's true though. People were just like, anyways. So then I found this guy. Looks like he looked like he just got up or something, in his 50s. Just his hair was a little bit disheveled, and he had like a little collar, like a t-shirt with a collar, and he didn't look dirty. He just looked like he was tired. So I sit there, talk and stuff. So I said, yeah, why are you here? And the guy was talking normal, like, you know. And then I said, oh, what's your drug of choice? He said, drugs? I don't do drugs. I said, what? No, I don't do drugs. They said, why? And then I said, why are you here? He said, well, I ran out of money to buy food, and because the guy still had his apartment, a very cheap apartment. But I said, yeah, I ran out of money because I gambled everything. Then I was like, oh, this guy's a gambler. That's why he's here. He's in the shelter eating a buck for a meal, right? Because it's $1. I didn't cost me anything because I was staying there. But for people outside, you could eat at a shelter for $1. Anybody can go eat at a shelter for $1. They don't ask questions. If you give it $1, you can eat. So then I said, oh, well, there's like 12-step meetings. Like I do that for NA, for my drugs. I'm trying to stay, I'm in recovery. I'm trying to stay clean. There's Gamblers Anonymous. And then he looked at me and said, why would I stop? I love gambling. And then I was like, oh my God. The guy that I'm sitting in front of me is the craziest of all the people here. That's crazy. So the guy did not want to stop, even though like he was around the worst people. Just like the lowest people who had nothing, drug addicts, mental health, people like schizophrenic. And this guy was just fine being there. I said, nobody, then he said, oh yeah, my daughter doesn't like my behavior, but you know what? I'm not hurting anyone. That's the thing. When people say that, I've said that before, I'm not hurting anyone because I'm doing this to myself. I was hurting everybody that loved me. So this guy, like your friend here, because his betting was getting out of hand, it's like, it's just, it sucks because we kind of brushed them off, and it's kind of weird because they're not even high. Like a lot of them are not even high when they do these behaviors of the gambling, right? Well, with the slots machines at the casinos, they did a study, and there's as much dopamine release when they're almost winning as when they're winning. The brain doesn't know the difference. So when you're like almost winning, and then you miss it, when it kind of slows down, clink, 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 clink. Oh, I'm going to win. Oh, I lost. So the brain releases a bunch of dopamine also. So actually they are high. They're just, the brain makes a dopamine for them from the content and the behavior they're doing, right? So it's really, really hard on people. And I think gambling can make you homeless faster than most of it. Because let's say if you have 20 grand, you go party. I know it's with crack cocaine, you can spend that really, really easily and really quick. But let's say if you're doing other type of drugs, like if you gotta get buy like speed or whatever, you're gonna have 20,000. You're gonna party for a long time. You might die before you run out of money, right? But with gambling, you can bet 10 grand on on black, whatever, and then you win fucking 30, and then you bet 20, and then like in 2 hours you can spend your 20,000 and you're done. So it's pretty crazy. So gambling can be really, really bad for your finances, and it can bring you homeless. Some people bet their houses. There's a thing in the casino, you can put your house, it's kind of evil when you know about it, right? Casinos make money from addiction, pretty much. It would be like an establishment. Yeah, here we sell drugs, and we make money from the people suffering. Sometimes, I've known people go to casinos and they're fine. And some of them like are actually good at gambling. Like the UFC owner, like Dana White. He gambles a lot, crazy amounts, but he seems to be doing totally fine, right? But he has a pretty much a good and less supply of money. And I guess he knows like he must have some type of control, right? But some people who are real addicts for no control, they'll end up in the streets like the drug addict. So sorry for your friend. I'm gonna go through some comments here. Marty Miller 65, good for you, brother. This is extremely important and relatable. Yes. Looney Tunes fans, hello there. You'll be 38 soon. I will be 38 soon. Freddie saying, wow, the dopamine pack is crazy. Yeah, I know. Right? That's why like people like they always make, it's like when I get a scratch ticket and then I used to like buy Win for Life, like $1,000 a week for life. I was like, that sounds like a good deal. I don't buy tickets anymore. I don't do that anymore. But I would get like once every 2 months, I would buy one. You want a lottery ticket? I'm at the grocery store. You want a lottery ticket? I wasn't planning to, but because I'm impulsive and you're offering, yes. And then I would scratch. Oh, win. I need to have like 3 apples to like win the money, right? So 1 apple, scratch. Oh, scratch, pear. Oh, shit. And then there's 2 left. Another apple. Oh my God. Another apple, and I'm going to be winning money for the rest of my life. Then my head's going like mil times an hour. I'm thinking of all the things I can do with this $1,000, and then scratch. And then I see the corner of like the pear. It's an apple. Scratch. It's a fucking pear. And so I was so excited because I thought I was going to win, but I didn't. That's what they do. They do it by purpose. They make you think you're gonna win, and then you don't. And this makes your brain addicted as if. So that's the thing. So it's very like tricky, very like addictive. Natty Gaines says, I am addicted to gambling too. I ban myself from all casinos near me. Yeah, that's a good move on you. But you also got to be careful with the apps on your phone now. So I don't know if you're a guy that goes on his phone and gamble, but I have a friend, he had like some Bitcoin or whatever. In one weekend, he spent all his crypto in gambling. And I was like, oh, imagine that. And he was a drug addict too. He was doing blow. He had hookers that were doing his blow. So that's a lot of money wasted there. And then he would be on his phone gambling too at the same time. So are you even having sex with these strippers? He would just throw away his money would go in flames. He would be like saving for months, back on track, and then in one weekend, everything is gone. And imagine that. Not only did you not go to work, not only did you not respond to your friends, and you spend money on drugs and hookers, you gambled everything. So imagine to come down on that guy. How much hate he must, because I hated myself the most when I would be coming down. But this guy, poor guy, man, it's no joke. The gambling stuff is no joke. So Natty Gaines, it's good that you notice you are, and you can take some steps and helping that, right? Okay. Paul Pasliak, what is your addiction? Drugs. Drugs of all kind. I was a guy who would like to be more like wired and stuff, and low inhibition, so anything that would kind of do that. I'm never like super precise and when I speak about my drugs, because I want the message to be relatable for as many people as possible, right? Because for example, if somebody is like talking about his weed addiction, and he talks about weed, it's weed, this, weed, that. Well, somebody who's like drinking, like I can't relate with this guy. He's a weed smoker. It kind of puts some barriers for some people that can't relate as much. So I try to just talk in general terms, because anyway, it can be gambling, it can be opiates, can be cocaine, can be drinking, can be porn, whatever it is. It's like the addiction is doing the same thing. It's ruining your life, but the message is usually the same thing. The program is very similar from one addiction to another. So this is why I speak it more in general terms and say drug of choice and things like that. Sometimes I'll slip it here and there, but I don't think it's really important. Um, Michael Barber is saying, "Hi Antoine, I run into you at Fitlog. I'm one of Morgan's train clients. 9 years, 6 months, and 1 day sober. Whoa, that's good, man. Excellent. I know exactly what you mean about the FOMO. I went through it for a good few years. Yeah, um, it. I had it for a long time, honestly, a long, long time. It was worse when I was still obsessed about doing drugs, because I would be either obsessing over drug use and doing drugs, or I would be obsessing about not doing drugs, like all day. I can't do drugs. I can't do drugs. I can't do drugs. So both, one I'm high, the other I'm not, but both I'm obsessing over drugs. Because if you're obsessing about not doing drugs, you're still obsessing over drugs. So that my FOMO was like at its highest peak when I was thinking like that. But at some point, I just had to surrender, and the more I was into recovery, the more I was into the program, it kind of went away slowly. But now sometimes I still get that FOMO, but not really as much anymore, because I don't want to escape the life that I have. But that wasn't that at first. It wasn't that at first, because at first I didn't have the life that I built for myself, right? And my brain was still very fresh, didn't know how to deal with life on life's terms. Like pretty much my brain did not know how to deal with life without drugs. I didn't know how to do that. I had to learn how to do that. So yeah, Kale Simmons said, I noticed that anabolics, especially DHT, lower my inhibitions. Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you have like a lot more hormones in your system, it might make you more impulsive. It might some people it really increases. Let's say if it's like your addiction is also sex related, and then you're taking a bunch of testosterone that makes you more horny. It's not gonna. It's like you're you're making like you're trying to get clean on hard mode here. You know what I mean? You're trying to like to live your life without drugs and if you're on a full of testosterone, your testosterone makes you relapse. It's like you're trying to like get clean on hard mode, and you need all the chances on your side. So a lot of time people they just like go off the gear, But the thing is like you gotta ask yourself like is it really helping me or not? People will sometimes will lie to themselves, right? They don't want to stop something because they say, no, not me. It's fine if I still do that. I can still get my shit together even if I take juice or whatever. Some people they can. Some people they cannot. Paul Pilsiak. I was sober for a month, but now I'm relapsed. Don't regret right now. Feel like I need a beer to survive. No problems in life. It was too much nothing. It's scary. I have friends and hobbies. Let me read that again. I was sober for a month, but now I'm relapsed. Don't regret right now. Feel like I need that beer to survive. Yeah. Well, I really felt myself that I needed the drugs to just live life also. And like I just said earlier, I had to really learn how to live life without it. Because we are kind of like self-medicating in a way, right? There's a suffering, there's a problem, and then we find, for you, beer as a solution. And then, wow, the problem is not as bad. But it's kind of like a plaster on a big wound, that the problem's still there. But for now, when you feel like there's no other option, it's like a quick fix. You can feel like shit, you take something, and then you don't feel like shit anymore. For a brief moment, at least. So some people will drink like all evening to put themselves to bed. Some people will wake up and drink some strong stuff, whiskey or whatever. So, yeah. And the thing is with alcohol, your body gets addicted too. So I don't know if you're there yet, but anyways, some people they drink every day their whole life and they're fine. I mean, it's like a habit, right? Some people will, after work, they'll just drink like 3 beers in the night and then just go to bed and they get up and they're fine. Are they really like addicts? I don't know. But if you're like, if your life is out of control and you're drinking and then everything's out of control, you're powerless over everything, you're getting in fights regarding your drinking, people are telling you things about your drinking, and you're the only one thinking it's a good idea, yeah, you might be an alcoholic. But the thing, Paul, nobody can really answer that for you. There's some like I never really I always feel these in rehab, but I'm sure you can find them online. It's like, oh, here's a trivia, a survey to know if you're an addict or not. And they actually have that also in the basic text. They also have that in the AA book, the big book. There's a section like to know if you're an addict or something, right? I don't remember what the chapter is called in AA, but you could look into it. I'm sure it's available online somewhere. You take that, and have I ever lied about my drug use? Have I ever lied about my drinking to somebody else? Like questions like that. If you say yes to like most of them, you might have a problem. But like I said, I don't know you, but it would be a good thing maybe for you to like ask yourself that. Like when I filled up like all the freaking questionnaires and surveys I filled up in rehab, I always failed miserably. They even told me I was a sex addict. I didn't believe it. Then I took a test, and I was like, oh shit, really? Failed horribly. But everything was drug related for me. Like when I'm on drugs, I just become a different person. It was the same me, but just crazy. I'm glad that now this is all part of the past. I can just go to bed clean and sober, wake up the next day, and feeling proud. Because for sure, if I would like do drugs tonight somehow and go to bed somehow, I would wake up the next day regretting. Like for sure, when it's all said and done, if I would do drugs now, and then once I sleep it off after being up for a few days and wake up, I would regret the anger and the shame. I would not even believe I did that. I would be like so angry with myself. I would be so ashamed, and it would be like incomprehensible. The shame. That's crazy, right? Because I know that. And then I wake up now, I feel like normal, another day. But I got to remember that. Every day I wake up clean, I wish I could feel like the other side of that. I said that all the shame and guilt that I would feel like up to the level over 9,000. I would feel that for sure if I fucked up. I wish I could feel the over level 9,000 of gratitude every morning. Imagine I wake up every day, fuck yeah, another day, I didn't do drugs. Then I'm so happy and like jumping on the bed, yes, and then just put my arm in the air and just be so proud of myself for not doing it. I should be like that, but I should be like that. But it's just now it's a new normal for me. The thing that never gets old is when I look at my baby, and it's like, oh my god, I freak out every time, and I'm really happy with that. So that's a cool thing with this. That never gets old. But yeah, I should be like more proud of myself for not doing drugs, but now it's kind of normal. But one thing for sure, if I would relapse, I know the guilt and the shame. I would probably punch myself in the face or something. I don't know what I would do. I'd be so mad at myself. I would try to hurt myself. So I know that the right decision is not to do it now because I know how it's going to feel. Michael Kinney is saying, great job, lots of love. Brazil, France, basketball, soccer ball, Swiss thing, another country, maybe Germany, Belgium, United States flag. Bring your baby to tropical island, Germany flag. All right. Good comment. I'll give you another example about why I think getting up and not have done drugs is the right thing for me. So when you first start to get clean, there's these using dreams that you have, right? Where it's like I had them so much when I first tried to stop doing drugs, like so much. I had so many of these using dreams where I was trying to look for the drug, I couldn't find it, or I had to hide it somewhere, and I would try to use, but something was missing. And it's just always about hiding the drug, this and that, and using dreams, or about to use, and then, or I would use it, and then I would like wake up, and I thought that, oh my God, no, I have drugs, and I got drugs, or I got high, for it's like when you wake up in a hotel away from home and you're like, oh, what the fuck am I? For like 2 seconds, you're really confused, and then you're like, oh yeah, true. I went on a trip and I'm not home. That's normal. Well, there was a 2 second after every using dream, a 2 second that I would wake up with guilt and shame and fucking stressed out. What the fuck did I do? And then I would realize, oh wait, I'm actually still clean. This was just a dream. It's not real. And I would be so relieved that it was a dream that I didn't use for real. And then I was like, wow, isn't that the right sign? If I woke up thinking I did drugs, I would feel so stressed and guilty and full of shame. And then I would realize that, oh no, it's not true. Then I'd be so happy it was just a dream. Well, I know that if I would do drugs in real life, all the stress and the guilt and the shame, I would feel it for real, and it would be real. It wouldn't be a dream anymore. It would be something I have to deal with, like many times before. So, yeah, that's a sign right there that if I'm dreaming about using and I wake up like fucking guilty about it, it means that I should not be doing drugs. It's never a good idea. Sharon is saying, what would you addicted to? Keep up the good work. I was addicted to drugs in general. I said earlier, I am always speak in general terms so more people can relate to the message. Michael Kinney, bring your baby to the tropical islands. You will enjoy. I'm sure I would, but honestly, I like being home. I like being home. I just like being home with my wife and my baby. I don't want to go anywhere. Baby has no idea. Baby, what a baby needs is booby milk, his mom and his dad, and that's it. Doesn't need to go anywhere. Honestly, we went outside today. How's that? It's great. But yeah, sure, I would enjoy a tropical island. I would hate the flight. And the thing is, every time we go on a trip, after 3 days, I just want to go back home anyway. Sharon says, do you mind just one time saying what was the addiction? Just being following you a long time and really into your journey. I mean, it's not really important, like I said. Like for people like who need really the help, it doesn't really matter what it is. I want to make sure my message targets as many people as possible. At some point, it's just like, oh, what was it? It's like just gossip. Like, oh, what did the Shannon say to the girl there? Like, what did she say? You try people are just trying to be gossip sometimes. It's not adding anything. Super Cravate is saying self-awareness can be a tricky balance. I believe that in some cases, the fear of addiction can drive people to self-deprecation and actual addiction. Not sure if that makes sense. I can read it again, see if I can understand. Self-awareness can be a tricky balance. I believe in some cases, the fear of addiction can drive people to self-deprecation and actual addiction. The fear of addiction. I mean, try to explain again, Super Cravat. Give me an example of somebody this would happen. Or maybe like an example with you or something, if it's you. Like you're afraid of being addicted to alcohol. And then that will drive you to self-deprecate. What does that even mean, self-deprecate? Like you tell yourself you're not good? I mean, yeah, I know that for me, I don't think I was like that, but sometimes you go into poor me. Not for sure I did it. When I would like coming down, just like, oh, I did this. I would like hate myself so much. I put myself so much down. I would feel like I'd be such in a hole in this. And the fact that I was just like putting myself into that state of mind, like when I felt bad, I wanted to do drugs. So I was making myself worse by talking about how I feel bad. And then the worse I feel, the more I want to do drugs. So it was driving me back to doing more drugs. Right? So it's good to feel the emotions of like fucking up and the guilt. And I need all this stuff. I need to feel all this stuff if I, to stay clean. I need to remember what the guilt feels like. But if I would stay in that for too long and just focus and just stay there, I would end up always like going back to drugs. Probably, right? If I try to remember that. because when I feel bad and I stay there, I'm not learning how to live life without drugs. I'm just staying in that fucking in the funk, stay in the funk, and then I only know one way out. I knew one way out only was doing drugs. That's what happened. Michael Kenny, great, awesome advice. My English is not the greatest, but you're full of great information. Hey, Michael Kenny, what's your language? Just curious. Super, I think you got my point. Yes. Okay, I know what you mean then. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think people who play the victim too much, they kind of they will. It's like a subconscious crutch they're gonna use to stay in that in that state and justify why they need to do drugs. Oh yeah, like you don't understand what I'm going through, how hard it is for me, so I need this drug because my life is so shit. So they want to stay in that shit spot so they can subconsciously keep doing drugs. It's tricky. It's tricky, right? The brain will like do all kinds of acrobatics to convince you to keep doing the behaviors that it wants to do, even if those behaviors are like slowly killing you or fast sometimes. Your brain will justify all kinds of shenanigans to just stay there, right? And sometimes, some people, it's the victim. Oh, it's so hard. This happened to me. You don't know how hard it is for me. And then they stay in that spot. They don't want to work on anything. They don't want to get better, because meaning if they get better, and then it means they don't have an excuse to do drugs anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it was like, for me, what was my excuse? Why did I keep doing drugs? I just wanted to party, I guess. Yeah, I just wanted to party. And the thing is, when I tried to stop doing drugs for the first time, for real, in 2015, every time I relapsed, I was like, okay, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to do drugs. Let's go hard. So I would go harder than before because I knew it was the last time I was doing drugs. And then I would like go super hard and then be all messed up and big bad consequences again. And then get my shit together. Then I would relapse. Okay, now is the last time, so I gotta go hard. So my drug use went way harder every time I relapsed after, because I knew it was the last time. So better make the best of it in my head, right? That's how I was thinking. I was crazy. So I don't know why I'm talking about that, but yeah. Dutch, Portuguese, Russian, Cantonese. Wow. That's crazy. No English, huh? Well, that's a good job. I only know 2 languages, French and English. But I'm glad the information is helping you. Anyways, already 53 minutes. Anybody else has a addiction-related question? Any burning desires to share? Share it all before. What's the saying? Like, something. Share it all. This is in the meetings we say that some funny things at the end. Oh, Chaos Intern said, your last lines about going harder resonates with me whenever poker gets me. Oh, like the game poker? Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like a few hands left. Like, now I'm gonna bet the real money. It's the last time I'm gonna bet, so I'm gonna bet big. And then you know you're in your head you're not gonna spend any more money in poker because you're never gonna gamble in poker again. Right? I'm gonna put $1,000 tonight because I know that I'll stop now anyway, or I'll take a huge 6 months break where I won't spend any money, and so it's gonna be fine. And then like a week later you do it again. Yeah, that sucks. I did that with drugs, so I get it, if that's what you mean. But yeah, good podcast. Chaos Intern, yes, I understand what you mean. I can relate. No, I can speak English, just my worse I bad with my liqueur. Yeah, Natty Gaines, so much mental gymnastics with addiction. It's crazy. Because like I said earlier, like My addiction is like a thinking problem, right? I don't think right. I think I need drugs to deal with life, and I will tell myself that I can control it. I'll tell myself just this one last time. It's all a bunch of lies, justifying myself, all this. So it's like a thinking problem that I'm trying to solve by thinking by myself. So it's that's why it wasn't working for me. That's why I needed help, outside help. Rehab was the best. Detox and rehab. You go there it's like a jail kind of thing. It wasn't like a jail. It was really nice most of the time. It didn't feel nice when you first got in, all grim and dark and shit. Some rehabs I ran away from because I didn't like them. I was like, I'm not getting clean here. Fuck this. Too shit. That was an excuse. I could have probably did it. Yeah. I remember I ran away. They refused me. They said, you got to go to the hospital because you got to detox first. We're not a detox here. They would refuse me. You're too high. You're too fucked up. Get out of the rehab. So they brought me to the hospital. They gave me my wallet and my phone. What do you think I did? Fucking called somebody to pick me up. I ran away from the hospital. The guy was about to put the guy was like, you want a guy nurse, a guy or a girl nurse to put the thermometer up your butt? I said, a girl. And then it's, oh, sorry, there's no girl available. I'll do it myself. Then I put the thermometer up my ass. He was like, you know what? The guy wanted to take like 12 vials of blood. I was like, I need a break here. And then I just took my phone and I ripped off the things. The machine was beeping, and then I ran away with my robe, like half off, and then putting my pants on and got my wallet, my health card, and I just ran in the random bus, and I called the girl to pick me up, and I just got my shit to rehab and went on for another 2 weeks. And that was like a normal Tuesday, But I was trying, so like one of the last relapses I did, like not the last one, but the one before. And it was like I started, went hard for a month, and then the other 2 months of my 3 months bender was just me trying to stop and changing my mind, finding an excuse with some mental gymnastics. So, pretty crazy. I would do that all the time. I had my drugs I have a gram of something left. I would flush it out in the toilet. Okay, now I'm done. Go to bed, sleep, wake up, try to look for the crumbs of drugs around the house, and then call the dealer again. I just flushed $100 the night before, and I'm buying more. I went to bed thinking I wanted to stop. I would wake up and then pick up again. But you know why? Because when you're high, you feel good, right? You feel good, you're motivated. So if my motivation was to stop doing drugs, I was like super motivated. I was feeling good. Yeah, I'm stopping using drugs. Stop doing drugs, sleep a lot, wake up in a down, not motivated, not feeling good. And when I'm not feeling good, my solution was, my brain was like too hard. It was too hard not to. My brain would go right to drugs. So it's like, yeah, you can say you stop doing drugs. You can throw all the drugs you want, but then when you wake up and you don't have any drugs in your system, your brain is going to tell you get some more. So this is why rehab was the best for me, honestly. Chaos Intern said, out of context, years ago at ProGym, my wife asked you for a quick video, cheer me up for a big finance exam. You might remember. Merci encore. Hey, how did you do with the exam? Did you pass it? Finance exam. That's good. Big finance exam. I hope you did well. And if you did, 1% is the profit share. I want because I helped you. Viso, salute Antoine. Hi, but now we're in. I gotta go. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. And Viso, if you just tuned in, you can just replay the whole thing, right? All my Antoine Anonymous live streams are available in the live stream section of my channel. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, and I'll see you guys next week. And Michael, danke. Ich bin Krankenkopf. Yeah, see you guys. Appreciate you all. Keep it up. And if you're struggling, get help. You don't have to suffer alone. Not anymore. See, you're not even alone right now. I'm here. But you got even more help. A lot of resources out there. But if you want more information on my experience, what I have to say about drug addiction and recovery and all this stuff, well, come by next week, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, every Friday, Antoine Anonymous, on my YouTube. Take care, guys.